The mansion of Doña Isabel shone like a palace, where every detail screamed discipline, money, and pride. The chandeliers cast golden reflections on the marble floors, and the scent of polished wood filled the air. For decades, Isabel had ruled her home with elegance and authority, her gray hair perfectly arranged, her gaze sharp as glass. The maids had learned to walk lightly, to speak only when spoken to, and to never, ever make mistakes in her presence. But there was one new maid who seemed different. Anna. Young, quiet, her eyes soft yet distant, as if she carried the weight of something invisible on her shoulders. She worked diligently, never complained, and every time Isabel caught her humming softly while cleaning, it annoyed her, because that sound reminded her of someone she'd tried to forget. That morning, sunlight poured through the tall windows of the dining hall as Anna carefully arranged silver spoons on the long oak table. Isabel watched from the doorway, her cane tapping the floor rhythmically. Then something glittered around Anna's neck, a gold necklace, thin, elegant, with a small blue sapphire that shimmered when the light hit it. Isabel froze. Her heart stuttered in her chest. That necklace. It couldn't be. It was unmistakable. The same one she had given her daughter, Lucia, on her 18th birthday, right before she disappeared without a trace. Her hands trembled slightly as she stepped forward. "Where did you get that necklace?" she asked, her voice sharp and cold like a blade. Anna turned slowly, startled by the tone. "This," she stammered, fingers brushing the pendant protectively. "It was my mother's. She gave it to me before she passed away." Her voice was soft, trembling with confusion. Isabel's pulse quickened. The sapphire caught the light again, almost mocking her. Memories she had buried decades ago surged to the surface. The night of the argument, her daughter's tears, the words she had thrown like knives. "If you leave with him, you are no longer my daughter." Then the silence that followed, years of silence. Isabel's jaw tightened, trying to steady herself, but her throat burned. "Your mother's name," she demanded, voice cracking despite her effort to control it. Anna looked at her in surprise, sensing something strange behind the woman's eyes. "Lucia," she said softly. The name echoed in Isabel's mind like a ghost calling from the past. For a second, she couldn't breathe. The room seemed to tilt. Her cane clattered against the marble as her fingers went numb. Anna rushed forward, alarmed, but Isabel stepped back, eyes wide, heart pounding with disbelief. She couldn't accept it, not yet. The world had just shifted under her feet, and she wasn't ready to face the truth that her pride might have destroyed everything she had ever loved. The rain began in the late afternoon, soft at first, then heavy and relentless, drumming against the grand windows of the mansion. The house felt unusually cold, its silence broken only by the storm outside and the ticking of an old grandfather clock. Doña Isabel sat alone in the drawing room, her back straight, her hands trembling slightly as they rested on the carved armrest of her chair. On the table before her lay the necklace, the same delicate chain she had once fastened around her daughter's neck with pride and love. She stared at it, unable to look away, as if that small piece of gold held the power to drag her into the past she had tried to erase. Memories came flooding back uninvited, the sound of Lucia's laughter echoing down the halls, her soft curls brushing against Isabel's shoulder when she hugged her, the smell of jasmine perfume that used to linger in her room. Then came the memory she hated most. That night. Lucia crying, begging her mother to understand. Isabel shouting, blinded by her obsession with family reputation, with control. "You cannot marry that man," she had screamed. "He's beneath you." And then Lucia's voice, broken but defiant. "Then I'll go without your blessing." That was the last time Isabel ever saw her. Days later, she learned Lucia had left the city with her lover, pregnant and penniless. Isabel never searched for her. Pride chained her heart too tightly. Now, as the storm grew louder, she pressed a hand to her chest, fighting the ache building there. She wanted to believe it was all coincidence, that Anna couldn't possibly be connected. But the necklace said otherwise. The eyes, those warm brown eyes that looked so much like Lucia's, said otherwise. A quiet knock came at the door. "Come in," Isabel said softly. Anna entered, her uniform slightly damp, her hair clinging to her forehead. She looked nervous, like a child walking into danger. Isabel gestured toward the chair across from her. "Sit," she said. Anna obeyed, her hands folded in her lap. The older woman's gaze was heavy with sorrow and suspicion. "Tell me about your mother," Isabel whispered, her voice trembling. "Everything." Anna hesitated. She never spoke much about her past," she began quietly. "She told me only that her family was wealthy, but they turned their backs on her because she fell in love with my father. He was poor, a mechanic. When I was little, we moved from place to place. She worked hard, but she was always sick. Before she died, she gave me this necklace. She said it once belonged to someone who loved her deeply, but whom she could never return to." Her eyes filled with tears as she looked down. "She told me to wear it so that wherever I go, love would protect me." Isabel's heart cracked open. Every word felt like a knife twisting deeper. She leaned back, her breath unsteady. Her voice broke when she asked, "Your mother's name? What was it?" Anna looked up. "Lucia," she said. The name shattered the air. Isabel's lips trembled as her world crumbled around her. Her daughter, the one she'd cursed and disowned. Her daughter had lived in pain, in poverty, while she sat surrounded by luxury and regret. And the girl in front of her, this humble maid, was her granddaughter. A sob escaped Isabel's throat as tears she hadn't shed in decades spilled freely. The storm outside howled as if mourning with her. For the first time in years, Doña Isabel no longer felt like the proud woman she had built herself to be. She was just a mother who had lost everything because she had chosen pride over love. The rain had stopped by dawn, leaving the garden glistening with dew and the air heavy with the scent of wet earth and jasmine. Sunlight filtered through the clouds, painting the marble terrace in soft gold. Doña Isabel sat quietly on a wrought iron bench beneath the old magnolia tree, her cane resting beside her. The night had drained her. Her eyes were red from weeping, her heart fragile but strangely lighter. In her trembling hands she held the sapphire necklace, its delicate chain slipping between her fingers like a thread connecting the past to the present. For so long she had carried her pain like armor, but now the truth had stripped her bare. Anna appeared hesitantly at the doorway leading to the garden, unsure if she should interrupt. She had spent the night awake, haunted by Isabel's reaction, by the revelation that had changed both their worlds. Slowly, she walked forward, her steps soft against the stone path. When Isabel looked up, her face no longer carried the cold pride of a woman who ruled through fear. It was lined with sorrow, gentleness, and something Anna had never seen in her eyes before: love. "Come here, child," Isabel said softly, her voice breaking the morning stillness. Anna obeyed, sitting beside her. For a long moment neither spoke. The birds began to sing in the distance, their melodies weaving through the quiet. Finally, Isabel reached for Anna's hands, her fingers shaking. "I never thought I'd see that necklace again," she murmured. "And I never imagined that God would send me a second chance." She paused, tears glistening on her lashes. "Your mother, my Lucia, she was everything to me. But I was too proud to see her happiness mattered more than my reputation." Anna listened silently, her eyes filling with tears. "She loved you," she whispered. "Even when she was sick, she used to tell me stories about her beautiful mother who lived in a house full of light. She said one day she hoped I'd meet you." Her voice broke. "I didn't think it would happen like this." Isabel pressed her lips together to stifle a sob, then gently took Anna's face in her hands. "Forgive me, mi niña," she said, her voice trembling. "Forgive me for what I did to her and for not finding you sooner." Her tears fell freely now, warm against Anna's skin. "I thought wealth could protect me from pain, but it only built walls around my heart." Anna couldn't speak. She only nodded as tears streamed down her cheeks. Isabel took off one of her diamond rings, a family heirloom, and placed it in Anna's palm, closing her fingers around it. "You are family," she whispered. "My granddaughter, my blood. From this day forward, you will never serve in this house again. You will belong to it." Anna broke down, throwing her arms around Isabel, and the old woman held her tightly, as if afraid she might vanish like Lucia once had. For a long moment, time seemed to stop. The wind rustled the magnolia leaves, and somewhere, the world felt whole again. Inside the mansion, the cold halls no longer felt empty. The staff watched through the windows as the proud woman who had once ruled with distance now wept in the arms of a maid who was no longer a maid, but a piece of her lost heart returned. The necklace between them glowed softly in the morning light, a symbol not of sorrow but of love rediscovered, and of 2 generations healing what pride had once destroyed.